this morning just because we had a ton going on, wrapping up from Rep Fest and people getting back into the swing of things. I do want to thank you, Barbara and Patty, for being on the call and live. I will say that I am recording this call as usual, and that if you guys have any questions regarding the material that we cover on today's goal setting call, please just call me, because this one is very detail oriented, and I could see that there may be questions. So feel free to just pick up the phone and give me a call, or even shoot me a picture of the application guide if you're stuck on it, and then give me a call and say, hey, this is where I'm stuck. Whatever's easiest for you, I'll be available. And for those of you that had your call scheduled for today, which let me look and see who those people are really quickly. That's going to be Susan Wong, Miss Patty Featherston, and Paula Cummings. Patty, we already kind of rescheduled yours. I'll be calling you next Tuesday to set up a definite time. But Susan and Paula Cummings, I will be reaching out to you shortly thereafter the call to reschedule you for later in the week. And I do want to give you guys just a couple of kind of just regular business agenda type things before we get started. Because the end of the year is wrapping up, and those of you that know me know that I don't take a whole lot of vacation days. I just want to announce a few upcoming vacation days for me, because my new boss is definitely on the ball about having me take some time off so that I don't have a ton of it left over at the end of the year. Right now I have 5 weeks of vacation to use up, and I've got to figure out how to do it. So just so you guys know, I will be on vacation this Friday, the 11th, tomorrow, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be unavailable for you guys. If you guys need me to answer questions, if you're doing your application guide and tomorrow's the only day that works for you, just give me a call. I'm going to be home. I'm just taking a vacation day just simply to use up some vacation hours. So feel free to give me a call. I'll walk it through with you. If I don't answer the phone right away, I might be in the middle of doing something, but I will give you a call right back. So tomorrow, Friday the 11th, and again, Monday the 14th are scheduled vacation days for me. But Monday is the same thing. I'm not going anywhere. I won't be out of town. So you guys give me a call if you need me. I do also want to say that Tuesday the 22nd, I will be leaving to head to staff meeting in Ontario, which is down by LA. So I'll be at staff meeting Tuesday night and all day Wednesday the 23rd. That does not conflict with anything that we have on the schedule for Wednesday the 23rd. However, it does conflict with our group seminar for Tuesday the 22nd. I'm looking to see if I can pre-record that and still launch it at noon to you guys, so you guys don't miss anything or have to rearrange anything. So by the end of the day today, I will let you know if that is a possibility, so that I can just hit play for you guys at noon, because I'll be on the road. I'm actually driving to Ontario, so I can't do the car on the road. I can't do the call on the road. However, if I pre-record it, I'm thinking there might be something I can do to initiate it and get it started for you guys so that you can see it. And I'll let you know by the end of day today what that looks like. So now let's get started on goal setting. Again, thank you for those of you that made it to the live call. And this, like I said, it's pretty detail oriented. So it's going to be fun to really kind of see how we go and how we move forward in the goal setting module. Now, setting goals is really important for several reasons. When you set a goal, you have a target, right? If you just have a general overview of where you want to go, you're going to get there someday. And I say someday, in quotes. Really, someday may never come if you don't actually set parameters to that goal. We all want to get there someday, but let's make that day a particular day. And that's what we're going to do in this module, is we're really going to break down what you want, when you want it by, and step by step how to get there. We're going to do that by using the SMART goal setting kind of parameter or guidelines. We're definitely going to cover the way we're going to measure these goals and make sure that they are SMART goals. And we will break down what that means throughout this module. We're going to talk a little bit about what you guys think about your goals and what to think about when you're formulating those goals. What kind of things do you want to make sure that you're really looking at? Do you want to look at what you've done in the past and compare that to what you have coming up in the future? You've really got to take a look at the timeline that you have to be able to commit to that goal. And is that something that is doable within the timeline that you've set for your Avon business? We're also going to look at defining strategies. And what that means is you're going to have a goal. You're going to set measures on those goals. And then, of course, let's break it down into the strategy that you're going to use to really make that goal happen. This is a little thing that I thought was really great, and I'd really like you guys to chime in and tell me what you think about this little quote that I pulled. Members of the Harvard University in 1979 MBA program were asked if they had written down a clear set of goals. Only 3% of them had. 10 years later, the 3% that had written the goals were earning an average of 10 times more than the other 97% of the class combined. So what does that make you guys think? I mean, let's think about that. Let's take 97% of the class, and we're talking Harvard MBA graduates, and combine that income. That's got to be a huge amount, right? But 3% were earning 10 times more than that combined, the 3% that had set their goals. Why do you guys think that is? Any ideas? They weren't sidetracked, right, Barbara? They had a clear path of what they needed to do. And if they did get sidetracked, it was pretty easy to get right back on the path because they had written their path for them. What do you think happened? Do you think the other 97% were making pennies? No, exactly. They weren't making pennies. I'm sure they were making a great income. So I'm sure they were very happy with where they were. But when they got in contact with those people that had written their goals, what do you think they did when they heard the income or where in life they were at that point?
They're writing down goals.
Right? I'd be sitting down, writing down goals, posting them on my mirror, sticking them on my refrigerator. No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is definitely something that was a big deal, I'm sure. So I thought that was kind of funny. And goals really start with a dream and the why, right? We can't have a goal if we don't know what we want. And we don't know how to get to our goal if we don't know why it's important to us. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to set a goal if you don't know what you want. And it's really hard to set a timeline if you don't know why you want it or why you want it in comparison to what's going on in your life right now. So just for this module and what we're doing and really what we're doing with your guys' business over the next several weeks and the next few modules that we have left, we're really going to make a very general goal setting formula for you guys. And it's going to look very much like, how much do you want to earn in the next blank amount of time? What title will you need to achieve in order to get those earnings? And how much time do you have to achieve it? So it's going to be a very simple formula for you guys. Now, just because it's a simple formula does not mean that it's going to be easy to do. It's definitely going to require some thinking and some planning. And that's where really a lot of time spent with you and your application guide and looking at that. And then a lot of time spent either talking to your accountability partner, your significant other, or your coach, which is me, and really working out that plan and putting those into action. So really quickly, I have a question for you guys. Do you guys see my toolbar in the side of your screen right now? Or do you only see the slide?
Oh, I see your toolbar.
Okay, I'm going to hide my toolbar because it's probably covering some information, correct?
Not on my
Okay, well, it's covering it on my screen, so I'm hiding that toolbar. So let's talk about what SMART goals are, because this is really the whole basis of what we're going to do over your goal setting the next couple of weeks. What is a SMART goal? So let's talk about kind of what the definition of setting goals is. A definition of setting goals is definitely establishing a measurable set of targets that you can reach in order to help kind of reach your overall dream. So step by step, establishing a measurable set of targets that you can reach to help you reach your overall dream. What is not a goal? Well, you're not goal setting if you're just giving me some blank general activities or a single action. I'm going to go out and recruit today. Okay, well, that's not a goal, right? That's just a general statement. And you've got to keep in mind that goals are not high-level concepts. You know, I want to be a platinum executive leader next campaign, or I want to be a platinum executive leader by the time I'm finished with my Avon career. Is that a goal? Well, I mean, it's a target. That's definitely a target, but it's not a goal. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure your goals are SMART. And what that means is that they're specific. You know exactly what that goal is. They're measurable. And what measurable means is that you can say clearly, I met that goal or I did not meet that goal. It's something that is a clear, measurable target. Is it attainable? And you know, anything that we put our minds to can be attainable. But really, when we're making goals, we want to make sure the goal is attainable to what we can do and how much time we've set aside to do it. So is this goal attainable within the timeline that we've given ourselves? And is this goal relevant to your business? Is this goal something that is going to drive you in the right direction? And then, of course, is this goal time-bound? Have you set a clear, specific timeline for this goal? Now, how do you guys think? How do you feel about this SMART module, this SMART kind of the SMART goal setting plan? Do you think this is something that's going to make it easier for you to set goals if you use this plan, this SMART guide?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I tried to set goals prior. What I did was I didn't look at any of this for our first module when I went through it, when we went through goal setting, and I tried to set. I noticed many of my goals are not business related, Susan says. And you know what? Sometimes what we can do is we can take a life goal and we can definitely try to, you know, sometimes our life goals really cannot be transitioned to business. It depends on what it is. But there are a few life goals that can be transitioned to a business goal to help us get where we want to get to for that life goal. So that's another thing that we're really going to have to look at and think about is some goals being life goals are not the goals that we're going to be able to break down in this module. So we really will have to set up a business-driven goal. And I want to take a second to apologize to you guys for my voice. You guys know I was at RepFest. RepFest was definitely busy, definitely a lot going on. And as you can tell, my voice is still recovering from it. So I am sorry. I'm going to have to pause and take a drink every now and then. My coffee that's sitting next to me, I have a really sore throat. Not that I'm getting sick, just that I had a ton of fun at RepFest. Really making sure that you guys had a ton of fun at RepFest. So moving on, let's look at what these SMART goals can really help you guys do and what type of goals we're going to ask you to set in this module. So really what we're going to do is we're going to have you set 2 goals, and you're really going to see that broke down for you in your worksheets that were sent out about 5 minutes before the call. So don't freak out if you haven't checked it. You know, if you were checking your email this morning and you said, I don't have my worksheets yet, I literally hit send and then started this call. So you really just received them as you were getting on the call. But we're going to set personal goals. And your personal goal is going to have pretty much 4 parts to it. What earnings title do you want to be at? What goal do you want to earn at? How much does that look like? What earnings amount do you want to earn every 2 weeks on your leadership check? How many first generation appointments or new team members is it going to take to get you to that earnings title or that earnings amount? And keep in mind, we all know it might not be all about your first generation appointments. It might be about some team things too. Hence, we're going to set some team goals. But we're going to set those personal goals first because that's what's going to lead you to drive those team goals. If you don't have a personal goal, it's going to be really, really hard for you to set team goals. And then, of course, a personal sales goal. We all know that this is a sales business. We cannot be in this business unless we sell Avon products. No matter how big your team is, if you can't turn in at least a $200 order every campaign, you're not going to receive your leadership checks, correct? I mean, that's just the way it is. You've got to meet your personal sales goal too. Now, I would challenge everybody on this call, if you set your personal sales goal for the $200 minimum, I would challenge you to rethink that. The bigger your personal sales goal is, the more money you're instantly putting back in your pocket on earnings. And really, we all want to be President's Club members. We know we want our downlines in the President's Club, therefore we want to be in the President's Club too. So really a goal of, $400 to $500 a campaign personal sales is a great target to keep in mind. If you're already performing there and you want your personal sales target to get you to McConnell Club, Rose Circle, Honor Society, Inner Circle, wherever that might be, I would just really caution you to set a goal at least $450 to $500 for that personal sales goal. And we can really talk about activities that can get you there if you're not already there. And then, of course, we're going to set team goals. And these team goals are going to be for your generation 1 through 3 sales leaders. How many do you need? Do you need to develop some new ones? So, bullet point 2, if you need to develop new ones, how many team new appointments do you need? And I want to clarify the difference between a team new appointment and a team registered recruit. These are pre-done slides. In doing so, I personally would have taken out the team new appointments. The reason they left that in is so that we can celebrate along the way, because we all know just because you sign somebody up does not make them impact your team. That's the difference between a team new appointment and a team registered recruit. So the registered recruit is that qualifying team member. The new appointment is that pending appointment. We want to celebrate your team every step of the way. So as they get that pending appointment, we definitely want to celebrate that with them. So how many pending appointments is it going to take to really get the amount of registered recruits you need? Well, we're going to reflect back on your guys' conversion rates and what your team conversion rates are. Another great thing to look at for your team goals is order activity. Some of you have teams right now that could get you to that next title if they only all placed orders, right? Trust me, we all say that. If they only all placed orders, I could be blah, blah, blah. Well, so let's talk about what is your preferred activity rate? Where would you love your team to be? Right? Susan says, right? Susan could be probably an executive leader if her entire team placed orders. So could so many of you. So it's about what we can do to get that activity rate a little bit higher. Let's break it down a little bit more. How many team orders do you want? Sometimes that's easier than, we talk about taking your elephant and biting it one bite at a time. Let's set a specific number of orders each campaign. And we got to look back. What's your average order right now, amount of orders? And let's build from that. And then, of course, the team average order size. How can we bump that size up? And what goal would you like to set for that size? And then, of course, your total team sales. As we move through these goals, you guys are going to see that you're basically going to break these down per campaign for the next 26 campaigns. So it's going to be very easy to have a specific campaign goal in mind. What happens when you have a specific campaign goal in mind? You know exactly what to do each and every campaign, right? So let's look at setting more likely to achieve the goal. Correct, Susan. I mean, if you don't know where you're at in the goal, you're getting that goal by accident. How many of us have won an incentive and you've either, whether it be in your personal life or in your professional life, you've earned something or won something and you didn't even realize you earned it or won it until somebody else told you congratulations, or you got that congratulations email, or whatever that looks like. Because I know I personally have, and don't get me wrong, I wanted it. I was just so busy trying to get it, I wasn't really charting how I was doing on it. So getting it was kind of luck or an accident. But once you really set it out and you know right where you're at all along the incentive, you know when you're getting it, you know how you're getting it, and you know exactly what it took to get it. So let's set some long-term personal goals. And what do you need to consider when you're going to set those goals? I want you to look at the next 26 campaigns. And I don't want you to think campaign 1 through 26. I want you to think campaign 18 of this year through campaign 18 of next year. By this time next year, where do I want to be in my personal Avon business? You're not looking at your team right now. These are those personal goals we were talking about. So you need to consider, what do you need to achieve in order to make progress towards your dream? What do you need to do to personally achieve that dream? How much time do you have to commit to your Avon business in the next year? So once you know how much time you have, we're going to look at your past results. You need to really consider, given the amount of time you're giving yourself, did you give yourself that much time in the past? And if you did, what were the results you were able to accomplish? Let's keep in mind what you did prior so that you have a baseline of what you can do next, moving forward. Do you need to push yourself more? Do you need to give yourself a little more time to get things done in your business? So the past is really going to play a big role in how we set our goals for the future and how we really know how much time we need in our business, right? And then, of course, how much will each first generation appointment impact your business? Because sometimes, let's be honest, we know one more appointment could change our business immensely. One more order in your first generation could mean the difference between leader and gold ambassador, bronze leader and gold ambassador. And we know the difference between pay in a gold ambassador and a bronze leader is a big deal. And one more appointment could do that. Not to mention the 3% bump in all the extra stuff that you get per each appointment. So are there a few other things you guys think you should consider when planning your long-term personal goals? Anybody want to add anything to these bullet points that we have here for your long-term personal goals? Family members impact. Correct, Susan. And I'm gonna play on that a little bit. There are a few things that you need to consider when you're looking at the next year in your life. What big rocks does your family already have planned for you? Is there a vacation? Is there a time of the year where family is a little more front burner than the Avon business? So in setting the time that you have to give to your business, you really need to consider what your family requires from you also. I hope that's what you meant by that, Susan. Personal discipline. Correct, Barbara. Personal discipline is huge. Are you going to be able to make yourself adhere to the time requirements that you're putting into play for yourself? And don't I really want you guys to make sure that as you're setting these goals, you are being real and realistic with yourself. If you work your Avon business 2 hours a day right now, and you put 10 hours a day on your goal setting, you guys know me well enough to know I'm going to call you out on that. I'm going to say, hey, is that realistic? Can you really switch from 2 hours a day to 10 hours a day? And if so, why haven't you done it sooner, right? So let's be really real and realistic when we're setting these goals so that we make sure we get where we need to get, when we need to get there, and that we celebrate all along the way. So let's look a little bit at setting some long-term team goals. Again, this is what we just went over in the other slide. These team goals they really play off of what your personal goal is. Things that you need to keep in mind while you're setting those team goals. What does your team need to achieve in order for you to reach your personal goal? In other words, if your personal goal is a title advancement, which I really hope it is, what does your team need to do for you to reach that title advancement? Because we all know it's a team effort. You can't title up unless your team is supporting you. So what are your team's past results? Let's look at that. How many times have you wanted to title up and missed it because of a team issue? Not your own personal issue, but a team issue. I bet most of us can say, I have at least once or twice. Me personally, that was a big deal for me, missing those team goals. Too many times, Barbara says. Exactly. And it happens to all of us. So let's look at what our team has done in the past before we make a goal of what we want our team to do in the future, right? Again, history lesson. We've got to know what is realistic for our team. And that then plays on, do we rely on the team we have to get us where we need to go? Or do we need to grow the team ourselves in our first generation to find that new rock star that's going to help our team get to where we want it to be in the future? So just because the team you have now has gotten you where you are now, and kudos to the team that you have now, you've worked very, very hard to build it, that you each have amazing teams, you each have, amazing qualities about your teams. But is the team the way it sits right now the team that you need to get you to where you want to be? The likely answer is no. The likely answer is, I need to build this team. And it starts with your first generation, because we can't control what our second, third, and fourth generation do. We can only support and influence, right? So what are your team's best opportunities for growth? And I really like to say an analogy for this is low-hanging fruit. Where is the low-hanging fruit in your team? Who is the person that just needs a little bit of work to move up to that next level? Who is that star promoter that can then become your next bronze ambassador to get you where you need to be? So you start with the easy moving people, right? Who's only missing team sales? Who has great team sales and is only missing one more order in their first generation? You look for the quick, easy places to make the biggest impacts at first. So what are your team's best opportunities for growth? And then where do you want to focus your efforts with your team this year, this coming up year? So again, I want you to reflect on who you focused your efforts on prior. Was that the best place to focus your efforts? Or is there a place to focus that would be better served? Is there someone on your team that maybe you've been overlooking because maybe they're not in leadership right now, but they've shown a really huge desire to grow their sales? And in doing so, you know that if they're doing events, if they're out there trying to grow their sales, the likelihood of starting a team is right there. So maybe if you start supporting them in team sales or personal sales, you're going to have that new rock star as far as your new team leader. So those are the 4 things that we came up that you really need to consider when planning those long-term team goals. Can you guys think of anything else in planning your long-term team goals that should really be considered? Anything else that comes to the forefront of your mind? I would say one thing. Oh, I hear somebody. Is somebody going to chime in? No? Did I scare you? Just kidding. I would think one thing that you definitely need to keep in mind. Oh, team building activities are going to be great, Barbara. So what kind of team building activities can you do? Those are great, great things when we get down to strategies in your goal setting. Perfect. And we're going to talk about those. One thing I think you should definitely keep in mind or have an idea of are what are your team's goals? What are their personal goals? Because if you're looking and you're making team goals and you identify somebody that you think is the key to moving your entire team, and you make an entire growth plan on them being your key player, and then you make the phone call super excited to help them grow, and they say, I'm way too busy right now. This is not something that's in my plan. What just happened to your entire plan? So, exactly. Whoop, there goes your bubble. So, before we build our bubbles and they are perfect, I would say a couple reach out phone calls to find out what their goals are would be great. And that's something that you guys probably have been doing throughout the last few weeks because that was part of our kickoff seminar call, getting to know your team again and getting to know their why and getting to know what they want. So by this time, you guys have had the last 4 weeks to do that. That's why that started first, so that then we could get to our goals and you guys kind of had an idea of what your people want. If you haven't had a time to reach out to all of them in the last 4 weeks, definitely reach out to those that you think are the key players before you start really building these goals. So now let's talk about kind of short-term goals, or goals for the next 6 campaigns. You have to set your long-term target first, right? That way you can make kind of stopping points along the way. If you don't know where your end is, how do you know how to get there? So we're going to go to the end first. You want to set that big dream goal. And then we're going to set a goal kind of partway through. 6 campaigns from now, I need to be at X, Y, and Z so that in a year from now, I can be where I want to be. Does that make sense? Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to take silence as agreement. That makes sense. So what do you consider when you're making your goals for both you and your team in the next 6 campaigns? You need to consider what you need to do to achieve and stay on track for that long-term goal. What season is it? That's a big one for us, right? Can you expect more or less out of your business depending on the time of year? Well, we all know that's a big ding, 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 yes, because we all know Christmas time is coming up. And Christmas time is the time that we can set those high goals, right? We can set high sales goals. We can set high recruiting goals because everybody wants to do something in the next several campaigns. So let's think about that. Where can we put a huge set of growth goals? And then where may we give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room because maybe things slow down towards the beginning of the year. We know that happens. So we don't want to push you guys to have the same goal every single campaign. We definitely want to look at where that campaign falls. Is there a holiday around that campaign? Is there, an incentive that is really going to drive you? And if so, the goals should be higher during that campaign. And we will talk about a few incentives at the end of the call. So where do you plan to focus your efforts? Who is excited? Who is as excited as you are when you plan those team goals? Kim, don't you worry about it. We're all running dog tired. And like I said in the beginning, Kim just jumped on and said she apologizes. She got on late because she got home at 4 a.m. this morning. My voice is still recovering. So again, we're all right there with you. Everybody that went to RepFest is a little bit sluggish still. So it's okay. You can listen to the playback to catch the beginning. Where do you plan to focus those efforts? Again, where do you need your efforts to be in your personal plan? Where's your sticky spot? Where's your real opportunity for growth? Is it in your personal sales? Is it in expanding that first generation? If it's neither of those things and you've got both those things locked down and ready, what can you do in your second and third generation? Who can you help? And where does that focus need to be? And then lastly, can you focus on growing your team now, which will positively impact your business in the long term? Again, we know right now, the season we're headed into with holiday and people are going to, people's kids are going back to school. My kid's first day was today. So in the next couple weeks, all those moms, all those leads, everybody that you've been talking to, those prospects that say, I'm way too busy during summer, contact me, come August, contact me after school goes back. All that's happening for you guys right now. So what can we do to positively impact the really high recruiting season that we have coming up upon us right now for the long term for our team? Now, other than those things, what else do you guys think you should consider in setting more of a short-term goal? Is there anything that jumps out to you that could really, throw a wrench in a 6-campaign goal-setting plan? Nobody? The only thing I could come up with would definitely be right back to what season it is. Definitely take into consideration vacations or anything that you do during the upcoming seasons or anything that falls within the next 6 campaigns that may affect how much time you give to your business. So keep that in mind as we go through and we plan per campaign. Your time that you're giving to your business may be adjusted each campaign over the next 6 campaigns. Same with your long-term goals. Vacation in
October, going to the Bahamas.
Oh, you have vacation. That's right. I'm like, is there an incentive to go to the Bahamas in October? I got really excited, Barbara, but now I'm excited for you. I'm a little bit jealous. Cruise like a boss. Yes, Susan said, that's coming in April. So these things, vacations that you have, big rocks that you already have on your calendar, keep those on your calendar because remember, that's the way goal setting and this business works. Everything works around what's permanently already on your calendar. And then you just figure out what you need to do and how much time you have to get those goals done, where you need to hit it hard and where you're allowed to give yourself a little bit of a break because again, you guys are people. You guys are moms, you guys are wives, you guys are grandmas, you guys are friends. You're everything to everybody, not just a business owner. So when is it time to switch that hat, right? And who gets to take priority at what time? All of those need to be in the forefront when you're making your goals. So we've talked a little bit, I've talked a few different times about looking back on our past. Barbara says too much. Yes, don't put too much on your calendar because you're setting yourself up for what? For disappointment. Are you excited to move forward when you're disappointed about something? Nope. So let's make a little bit of adjustments to what happened in the past and let's see where we can go in the future. But you have to know where you are, right? You have to know what you've been able to do, where your strong points were, and where you need help in order to move on. Otherwise, what's going to change if nothing changes? And you guys are going to hear me say that a lot. What's going to change if nothing changes? Nothing's going to change, right? Same thing people say all the time. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So we're going to reflect and we're going to see. First of all, are your goals attainable compared to what you've been able to do in the past? Can you stretch your goals a little bit further compared to what you've been able to do? And do your short-term goals align with your long-term goals? If you meet your short-term goals, does it keep you on the road to getting that long-term goal? Or does your short-term goal have nothing to do with your long-term goal? And again, we're going to talk about incentives that are on the table right now that will help you guys reach some of your long-term goals. Now remember, you have to reach that incentive the smart way, not just the easiest way. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we break down some of the incentives coming up. So let's define what a strategy is and determine how you're going to achieve these goals. So a few things. Think about your personal goals. How are you going to achieve your title goal? What does it take to move title? How are you going to increase your earnings? Well, earnings come from a few different places, right? They come from your leadership sales, they come from your personal sales. So how are you going to increase both of them? How are you going to identify potential new representatives? How are you going to grow your team? And then you've got to think about those team goals. How are you going to help your team increase their total orders? So we're talking about order count. If you've got 10 people on your team and 4 people are placing orders, how are you going to get 8 people to place orders? 9 people to place orders? How are you going to help your team increase their average order size? Well, I've got a big one for you guys to keep in mind for that, the A-box. If you've got a customer who's placing on average a $35 order, getting them to add a $5 item and then showing them that that makes them eligible for the A-box adds takes them from a $35 order to a $50 order, which really gives them the value, a kind of a, depending on the A-box, a gift of $40 or $50 for free. So leveraging the A-box is going to be huge for both you guys, your team sales average order, and you personally, your average order. You can get that average order size from $35 to $50 in a heartbeat if you guys leverage that A-box. And we'll really talk a little bit more about that on our one-on-one calls during goal setting. And if you have questions on how to leverage the A-box or words to use to get your customers interested in this A-box without sounding pushy, you guys give me a call. How will you help your team members place more orders? So how are you going to get them to move from, every other campaign to consistently every campaign? And what's in it for them? Remember, this all comes back to what's in it for them. Christmas gifts. Yes, Barbara, huge. The A-box could make a huge, really great Christmas gift, right? So what about how you're going to increase your total team sales? Well, if you're working on average order, do you think that that would impact team sales? Does that play off of each other? If you've helped your team start to consistently place orders every campaign, and you're working with the ones that skip, place every, you're working with all of them to increase average order size, what do you think that's going to do for your total team sales? It's automatically going to impact and increase those total team sales, correct? Also, as you're working on identifying new potential representatives, that's going to increase total team sales because you're going to be adding people, and so is your team. So how are you going to help your team grow their team? How are you going to talk to them? That's finding their why, right? If you find their why, and their why includes a residual income, or their why includes more money of some sort, or their why includes a 6-night, 5-day cruise to Bermuda, that kind of leads right into growing a team. How are you going to help those representatives become leaders? And when I say leaders, I don't mean start leadership. I mean bronze leader. How are you going to help more people in your downline hit the bronze leader level? And I will tell you guys, we got a sneak peek at a new compensation plan hitting in 2018. It's going to hit sometime early 2018. They have not given us an exact campaign, but sometime January, February of 2018, and you want to not only be at least a bronze leader, but you want some bronze leaders in your downline, and we are talking legacy money on the table, ladies. We're talking, this is compensation plan is comparable, if not better, than any other direct sales compensation plan out there right now. You guys were excited about the last compensation change. You're going to be blown away by this one. So how are you going to help your representatives, your team, get to that bronze leader level? And how are you going to keep your team satisfied so that they keep their Avon business? Well, if you're at bronze leader and your teammate is at bronze leader, do you think they're pretty satisfied? Do you think they're making enough money? The only way to ask, or the only way to know, is to ask. So really keeping those conversations on the forefront, keeping their why at the front of every conversation to make sure they're getting what they need from their business is going to keep them happy, satisfied, and with you. And again, I just want to throw in there, PC, getting your team members and every single one of them to that President's Club level, helping them get their orders to that $400 and $500 level every campaign, not only helps you, it helps them, and it helps the longevity of their career. Statistics show us that once somebody reaches President's Club, on average, a President's Club member sells for at least 10 years. So if you can get somebody to PC, you can kind of count on them being on your team for at least another 10 years. And how many of us can say that about the people we have on our team right now? I see that person staying with me for at least 10 years. I bet you there's only a handful of people on your team that you could say that about. And if you really look closely at them, they're probably President's Club members. So let's get all of our people to PC or above. Now, I know this looks big. This screen is a little bit scary for those of you that are on the call looking on the monitor. So this is what you were sent this morning. I don't want you to get overwhelmed by this. There's a lot of little boxes to fill in. This is your elephant. We're going to eat this elephant one bite at a time. Baby steps are going to get you through these application guides. These application guides are going to break down what you want, that goal. And remember, that goal is your personal goal and your team goal. And we clearly defined what those goals should look like, right? Does anybody remember what those goals should look like? What title do you want to be? By what date? How much money do you want to make? Right? So you pick a thing. I want to be blank by this date. I want a new car by this date. Well, in order to get that new car by this date, how much money do you need to make? And what title do you need to be at to make that money? Does that make sense? So that goes right back a few slides ago when we said what those personal goals look like and what those team goals look like. You're going to go through, you're going to set them for 6 campaigns, and then you're going to set them for 26 campaigns. You're going to make sure that your 6 campaign goals are keeping you in line to reach your end of the year goal. I know this looks like it could be a lot, but it's really not when we get to breaking it down. Those of you that had me for your manager, this is exactly what we did when I broke down every 2 weeks what you needed to do each campaign to achieve an incentive. I did it with a few different incentives for you guys. So this is really doing it on your own. This is really going to break down, if I want to be X, Y, and Z by campaign 26, what do I need to do each and every campaign to get there? And what does my team need to do each and every campaign to get me there? So as you print these out or pull them up on the computer, whatever you do to have these and look at these, if you have questions, please let me know. But please know that you do have the glossary, and you do have the definitions of what everything is and the walkthrough of this all right there in the email that I sent you. So make sure you look at everything, read through it, and then if you have questions, give me a call back and we will definitely go over it together. So let's talk a little bit about the hot topic. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? This plays a lot into goal setting, especially if your goals are really vague. If you couldn't find a goal, maybe this will help spur a goal as you start thinking. If you can figure out, I don't really have a goal. I don't have something tangible that I want. Maybe it could be that dream vacation. Maybe it could be something like this. So this hot topic right here is, it's very important to goals. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And why would you go there? So let's talk a little bit about your dream. This is your goal, remember? I want to be what? By when? What title do I need to be to get there? And how much money do I need to make? That's the end of the presentation. But now I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what's on the table to help you get to your goals. Those of you that went to RepFest know that you have Drive Like a Boss incentive right now, and you have Cruise Like a Boss incentive right now. So let's look at what those look like for you guys. You guys can win a Mini Cooper. I shouldn't say win because it's not about winning, right? It's about earning. You guys can earn a Mini Cooper, and you guys can earn a cruise to, I said Bahamas. I should have said Bermuda. It's Bermuda that you're going on the cruise to. And both of those incentives can help you give a timeline and definition to your goals. So if you don't have a goal and you just can't think of one, why not adapt one of these incentives as your goal? Why not work one of the incentives into your goal? And if that's the case, I'm going to be really honest. I haven't looked at the Drive Like a Boss, all of the worksheets and everything that you can pull offline. But I know I have looked into Cruise Like a Boss, and they already have a campaign by campaign goal planning worksheet available for you guys that you can print out off of Vibes. So that's a great tool to add to your goal planning worksheet to really help you stay on track. Can you see, that was funny. Can you see me packing my Avon tables and stuff for events into that Mini Cooper, Barbara said. No, to be quite honest, Barbara, I can't, but wouldn't that Mini Cooper be absolutely adorable for you to run around and deliver in? And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Southwest region gets the teal colored Mini Cooper. We are with Yvonne Cabrera, so you guys are in the running for the teal colored Mini Cooper. And, right, just to throw out a little information about these Mini Coopers, the colors are Avon branded formulations. They're trademarked. So the pink one that they gave away at RepFest and the pink one that's going to the other region, the purple one, the teal one, the blue one, these are colors that Avon has trademarked. They're paint formulated specifically the way Avon wanted them. So even if you see another pink car out there or another teal car or another purple car, by no means is it the same exact formula. So these are one-of-a-kind cars. Even if you wanted to, you cannot buy your own Avon pink Mini Cooper. You can buy a pink Mini Cooper, sure, but you're never going to get the exact Avon pink Mini Cooper. Just saying. So these are very special prizes. These are very special incentives. They're awesome. I mean, it had eyelashes, for God's sakes. It was just absolutely adorable. And I've been told the eyelashes come with it when you get it. So, I mean, it was just absolutely adorable. I want the giant size Avon things that were in the back of it. You guys can have the car. I want the things. I think those are cute. So what can you do? Kim says, me too. They were great. I really would have liked to steal the Ultimate and use it like a big, yard decoration. I think they were absolutely adorable. But for those of you that weren't at RepFest and didn't get to see the excitement and everything that came out of RepFest, call one another. Call somebody you know that did go to RepFest. Great table attractions, Barbara said. Right? Right. So what can we do to get you guys in the running for this incentive? And really, if you are down to earn this Mini Cooper, or you are down to go on this cruise, reach out to me in the next day or two, because what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be setting up an extra one-on-one call for those of you that say, I'm in, I'm all in, I'm going on this cruise, or I'm winning this Mini Cooper. And we're going to set up extra one-on-one sessions for those of you that are just all in and you're going to do it. We're going to make charts, we're going to make graphs. That green and blue thinker part of me that likes to think and do charts and graphs and plans, that's going to come out, and we're going to really make a plan for you guys to really attain it. And not only am I jumping on board to support you as your coach to help you work through this plan and give you extra time outside of the module coaching, but so is Alonzo, my lead coach. So I'm going to take these plans that we formulate together, and I'm going to pass them up to Alonzo, and Alonzo's going to step in, and he's going to jump on board to support you guys that want to earn this Mini Cooper and want to earn this cruise. So we have made a commitment in the Southwest to get that cruise filled with all of the Southwest region. So if you guys are down to get on that cruise, then you know what you've got to do. And remember that there's so many ways to earn either the cruise or the Mini Cooper. And you've got to earn it the way it's best for your team. So when we look at it, shoot, let's just say you can earn the cruise by signing up 15 people and having them place their first order and their second and third. Because if you looked at the breakdown for the cruise, a couple people had asked me, and I had thrown out that I didn't have clarification if it was every following order during the incentive period that those new people got you extra points. And I said I would get back to you. Good news, I got clarification this morning. So you know how we get points for when they place their first qualifying order, and then usually you're done getting points for that new recruit on your team? During the incentive for the cruise, and like I said, I haven't read a lot of details for the incentive for the Mini Cooper yet, but during the incentive for the cruise, you're going to get an additional 100 points for every order that they place over $150 through the entire incentive period. So you guys really need to look at how you can achieve this. But let's just say you're looking at it and you think, I'm a great recruiter. I can recruit 14 people and have them place their first, second, and third order and get all my points just by recruiting in my first generation and helping them place orders. And I can achieve the cruise. Well, you probably can achieve the cruise that way. And if you're a great recruiter, that's a great way to do it. But let's look at what your ultimate dream is and what your title achievement goal is. Is only adding on your first generation going to get you there? Or would it be better for you to take this incentive and earn this cruise by getting some mentoring bonuses and helping your second and third generation move? Is it going to be better for you to get a title promotion bonus and get those points? So in doing that, you're working with your second and third generation. Look at what earning that cruise and aligning it with your long-term goals. Where do you need to put those efforts if that's something you want to do? Do the same thing with the Mini Cooper. So pull that sheet of what you need to do to achieve whichever incentive you want to do. And when you sit down and make your goals, you've got your cheat sheet. You've got your guidelines right there. I need this, this, and this. When do I need to get it by, right? So that being said, I did announce that there are changes coming to your earnings compensation as leaders. And I did give you guys a hint. We're not announcing full-fledged changes just yet. We have not been given the permission to put those out. You guys may see them come out on Facebook because the executives do have them. But that being said, there are going to be things that are not fully understood about those changes because there's lots of changes. And when I say lots of changes, lots of good, amazing, fantastic, unbelievable changes to your compensation program. built-in bonuses that come every single campaign that have never been there and that are putting money on the table like none other. This compensation plan is comparable, if not surpasses, like I said, every single direct sales company that you can even look into. I am so proud of Betty Palm and whoever it is that she partnered with to get this compensation plan out to you guys. You have no idea. I'm still fully trying to understand all the ways you guys can earn money, and I'm a numbers person. So that's how big this compensation plan is for you. And I will tell you, they have not only made it big, they have made it simple. So it's not that I'm trying to understand how you guys are earning it. I'm looking at all of the different ways you guys can earn money in this new compensation plan. They have dumbed down the formulas for your guys' leadership earnings. We all know that it's so hard to figure out what you're earning on in your leadership check that when you guys pull that report, you're like, whatever, just tell me what my total check is. I don't even know how to figure this out. They've made that more simple. I mean, they have really made everything just come, the light bulb clicks. It's easy to understand. The part that's hard to grasp is how many ways you guys have to earn. And it's absolutely amazing. So I can't wait for January to come. What I do want to stress for you is that this goal setting is really going to come into play. I really would push you guys all to want to title up for the next few, again and again and again, so that by New Year's, you're where you want to be. What else can we cover in this goal setting? Again, it's hugely important that your goal is doable, that you've made a smart goal. I went 2 minutes over our designated time. The worksheets were sent to you right before the call. So if you had checked your email, right before, by all means, it wasn't there. It's there now. Kim popped on and said, can she ask a question? Yes, of course. I'm going to leave the next couple minutes open for anybody to ask questions. So those of you that don't have any questions, feel free to go ahead and sign out. The call will be recorded. I'm going to continue to record through the questions. But those of you that want to stay on and ask or listen to what other people's questions are, by all means, stay on for the next few minutes. Kim, what's your question? Patty, do you have a question?
No, sorry. I just moved the chair and it made noise.
Well, darn it. I thought you had a question. I want to tell you thank you for joining us because you're still in... Patty's on vacation, everybody. Where are you at?
New Orleans with the thunderstorms.
There's thunderstorms? Oh, my goodness.
Yes, and they're going to be flooding.
Oh, my goodness.
We're in the house.
Okay.
On the second floor.
Oh, so all is good. All is good for Patty. Hey, check in with me, and if there's anything that you need me to do, let me know.
Just pray that this storm goes by quietly.
You've got all my prayers, Miss Patty, and I'll actually full-fledged give you a good one when we get off the call.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Miss Kim, you got your question ready? I'm assuming Kim is typing. So is there anybody else that has... No, Kim, we cannot hear you. Okay, Susan, that's fine. Go ahead and go. This was recorded. Print out, download, do whatever you need to do to look at those those handouts that were sent to you. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Reach out to me, okay? Thank you for popping in. And I'm going to shoot you a text or talk to you later about rescheduling your one-on-one. Thanks, Susan. Miss Kim, do you want to give me a call and ask me afterwards? Did you figure it out? Can we hear you now? Okay. Bye, Barbara. Have a great day. And I look forward to our one-on-one because I know you always have good goals. I'm excited to see if you're going to go on that cruise with us. And again, those of you that want the cruise or the Mini Cooper, just reach out to me with a text that says, I'm in for whichever one it is. Barbara, you're asking me when your one-on-one is scheduled for. Your one-on-one is scheduled for Thursday, the 17th at 3 p.m. If for some reason that does not work for you, let me know. You're welcome, Laura. Let me know. I heard you say you wanted that Mini Cooper, so shoot me a text so that it's confirmed. Again, I don't want to make goals for you guys. Open that door for me. No joke, the baby's starting daycare. How scary is that, Barbara? Oh my goodness, she's growing up too fast. But that just means that you can go on a cruise now. That's what I hear you saying. I know. I hate it too. They grow up way too fast. Okay, Kim, we still can't hear you. Have you figured out? Kim, will we get compensated for existing team? Yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I did not want to make it sound like the team that you have now you're not going to make money on them. Yes, 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 you will. Your team, you're going to make money on every single team member you have, but more than new team. Will you make money on your existing team more than your new team? No. Your team is not going to look at your team is not going to be separated as old or new. Your team is going to be your team. So you're going to make money on your team regardless of whether they've been with you for 20 years or 2 campaigns. So your team will be your team in the new compensation plan. Old and new doesn't really make a difference. And just so you know, the 3%, yes, it will continue. So yes, as you add people, you're going to always get a 3% kicker on the new people. That's not going away. So that 3% kicker is staying there. Not a bunch of details being divulged right now. Just grow, grow, grow. Okay. Barbara doesn't understand the 3%. Barbara, let's take that to the parking lot and we'll go over it on the one-on-one call. Or I just saw Miss Kim say she does understand it. Look at that. Why doesn't Kim and Barbara, you two have a conversation? If Barbara, if you still don't understand it after you and Kim have it, pull me in, 3-way call me, reach out to me separately, whatever you guys want to do. But that 3% can make a big deal. So understanding it is a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. This will be uploaded and sent out to you within the next couple hours because I am jumping on another call at 11:30. So I might not be able to get this out to you before 11:30. Depends on how long it takes to reformat into the way that I need it to be for YouTube. So again, if you are down to earn one of the incentives, we need to make an extra goal planning session. Shoot me a text today, and all I need to know is I'm in and which incentive you're in for, or both of them. And then I'm going to be reaching out to you with some exciting things. So I will talk to all of you very, very, very soon. And thank you so much again for the flexibility that you guys had through RepFest. I do know that it really threw us all kind of into a little bit of a wonky state with rearranging calls and getting our schedules back in order. But it's time to hit the ground running. We have some amazing opportunities on the table, and this is the perfect time for goal setting. We could not have had goal setting module at a better time with what they gave us on the table at RepFest. So I'm excited to talk to all of you very, very soon. I'm here if you need me. Reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I'm excited to help all of you guys reach those dreams and goals. I'll talk to each of you very, very soon. Have a great day.